welcome Governor Greg Gianforte to provide the key welcome address for you. Greg?
Thank you so much. Good morning to everybody. I want to thank the Great Falls Development Authority for hosting and for having me with you today. I don't have to tell you, we're living in very challenging and unprecedented times. This pandemic has upended our lives in ways we couldn't have predicted a year ago. Montanans are finding themselves out of work and without a paycheck through no fault of their own. Our Main Street businesses, many of them have been forced to close and some for good. But there is good news. We're making great progress in combating this pandemic. As of this morning, more than 150,000 Montanans have received their first vaccine dose. Our healthcare heroes in Montana and across the country are working really hard to administer these safe and effective vaccines, and this will put us on a path to get back to normal. Montana has shown how effective we are in getting shots in arms. We just need more doses, and I'll continue to work to get more vaccines into our state. We've also taken steps to get our economy going again and get Montanans back to work. Yesterday, I signed a liability protection bill to shield small businesses, nonprofits, healthcare providers, and places of worship from coronavirus-related lawsuits if they work and take reasonable steps to protect their workers and their customers. Last month, we also rolled back the unnecessary regulations against restaurants and other small businesses, including restrictions on hours of operation and capacity. And our trend lines are good. We have fewer cases, fewer hospitalizations, more vaccinations. All this is very encouraging, but we're not out of the woods yet. And I encourage Montanans to stay resilient. And I fully believe that our best days are ahead of us. On budget, I rolled out our budget the first week in office in January, and it represents our priorities. Montanans elected me to get our Montana safely open for business, get our economy going again, and get Montanans back to work in good paying jobs. Businesses and the jobs they create are fleeing high tax, high regulation states and moving to states where the business climate is friendlier with lower taxes and less red tape. To get our economy going again, to get Montana open for business, and to get Montanans back to work in good paying jobs, we've got to make Montana more competitive. We want to encourage business investment and job creation in Montana by lowering taxes. We also want to reduce the burden of the business equipment tax on our small business owners. Montana and many states across the country face a shortage of skilled workers. This is why we're going to invest in trades education, and it's why our budget invests in this area. We offer businesses a 50% tax credit for employee education. So we have more carpenters and plumbers and welders and machinists. Together, employers and employees can decide on what training is best for their business and the employee. To make Montana more competitive, we've also got to get a better handle on our regulatory scheme. Burdensome, unnecessary red tape ties up small businesses, farms, and ranches, and these regulations cost time and money. Ultimately, Montana consumers bear the burden with higher prices on goods and services. In my second day in office, I signed my first executive order, which creates the Red Tape Relief Task Force. And we need your help to identify regulations that are burdensome. We're going to do a comprehensive top-to-bottom review from the inside, but we need you to tell us from the outside which regulations are just over the top. The task force is going to make a recommendation in the summertime. We have about 45 days for you to get your input in, and it would be welcome. Just send them here to the governor's office. Taken together, these measures will make Montana more competitive because we all know Montana's a special place. First, the Montana work ethic is second to none. Montanans are hardworking and know the value and virtue of work. And secondly, our quality of life is second to none. Our public lands make this one of the best places to live, work, and raise a family. These are two of the reasons why my wife Susan and I decided to move to Montana over 25 years ago, to put down roots, raise a family, and start our business here. Ultimately, my priority as governor is to increase opportunities here at home and bring the American dream into greater reach for all Montanans. Let me make it known to you today. Montana is open for business and we're ready for the Montana comeback. I so appreciate being with you today and I hope you have a great meeting.
Governor, thank you so much. We are so appreciative of having you in this role and know that we can work with your team and reach out to you as we seal some deals here from SelectUSA.
Perfect. Our door's open.
Great. Thank you. I'd like to now introduce the Acting Executive Director and Deputy Executive Director for SelectUSA, Director Bill Burwell. Bill?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jolene. That's a very tough act to follow, Governor. Thank you for your inspiring words and time this morning. I'm very pleased to welcome everyone today to SelectUSA's virtual tour of Great Falls, Montana, featuring opportunities in the agribusiness and manufacturing sector. The virtual tour today is part of SelectUSA's virtual tour series, and it's organized in collaboration with the Great Falls, Montana Development Authority. SelectUSA is a government-wide initiative dedicated to facilitating and promoting high-impact business investment into the United States. Since inception, SelectUSA has helped facilitate over $81 billion in client-verified deals, supporting over 100,000 U.S. jobs. Last year in 2020, SelectUSA helped facilitate 115 client-verified deals valued at $17.7 billion and supporting 14,000 jobs. FDI makes a big difference all across the United States and local communities. In Montana, for example, according to the latest annual data, 9,100 U.S. jobs are directly supported by majority foreign-owned firms. Hopefully you're familiar with the SelectUSA team and what we can do to support business investors to succeed in the United States. For those who may be less familiar, we're here to assist you in finding your next investment location. SelectUSA works one-on-one with companies, and our team has a proven track record of successfully connecting international companies and partners with resources to help them achieve their investment goals in the United States. Our services include information and counseling, FDI facilitation events, and assistance navigating the regulatory system at the federal level. SelectUSA works closely with economic development organizations, and through SelectUSA virtual tours, we're able to offer business investors like yourselves an overview of existing opportunities in different sectors and locations all across the U.S. And until we're able to gather in person, SelectUSA team will continue to partner with economic development organizations and offer virtual tours of selected locations across the U.S. You'll see a listing of some of these upcoming events and locations listed on our website at selectusa.gov. I would like to strongly encourage international companies to join the virtual tour today to take full advantage of the opportunities and register to participate in the 2021 SelectUSA Investment Summit. While virtual for the first time, the summit is the main feature of SelectUSA, our annual event, and we'll maintain the core principles of the annual event by incorporating similar themes and fundamental concepts. The Investment Summit will feature hundreds of virtual sessions, a virtual exhibition hall with economic development organizations and service providers, and a robust networking platform where participants can make the connections they need to push their investments forward. To learn more, you can visit the SelectUSASummit.us website or email us at susaevents@trade.gov. If you'd like to register for upcoming investment programs, please visit our website, selectusa.gov, and subscribe to our mailing list to receive all the updates. As an added benefit, we'd like to invite you to register for one-on-one virtual meetings with the members of the Great Falls, Montana Development Authority. To register for this free event, please visit our website, selectusa.gov, and go to our upcoming events page to reserve your space. Meetings will take place all day on Thursday, February 25th. SelectUSA and our colleagues located in the commercial service in Great Falls, Montana are here to assist with your company with any questions you may have. I would like to thank Great Falls, Montana Development Authority and all of our speakers today for putting on this great event. And I look forward to welcoming you all at the 2021 SelectUSA Investment Summit. Thank you very much, Jolene. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today.
Bill, thank you very much for joining us. We're very grateful, and I need to give a special shout out to Ethel Glenn on your team who has worked with us to put this together. So thank you very much. So we've had the state view and the national view. I'd like to introduce my colleague, Brett Doney, our Executive Director and President of Great Falls, Montana Economic Development Authority, to give you a regional view. Brett?
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Great Falls, Montana. We have the great pleasure of working in a very unique agricultural production region of north central Montana. We have a vast territory of 46,000 square miles that produce some of the best grains, oil seeds, and meat in the world. Recently, we've begun to diversify our crops to look at the new food supplies as well as agricultural processing needs in pet foods, bioproducts like biofuels, bioplastics, biopackaging, pharmaceuticals, and other needs, particularly with pulse crops. We've become the nation's largest producer of lentils and dry peas. And what we really are looking for are processing operations that can take advantage of what we produce each year in the fields and have some cost advantages of doing that processing before it leaves the state. We've become quite a location for foreign direct investment, with multiple investments from Japanese-owned companies as well as Canadian-owned companies, and large single investments from French and German-owned companies. We are delighted to welcome foreign investors to our territory, and we take a very unique approach. We are the closest US metro area to Calgary, so we partner very well with our colleagues in Alberta and Saskatchewan. We don't see it as a competition, we see it as a partnership. And that's how we approach working with companies. We're in it for the long term, and our primary goal is to help you be successful over the long term. We are not let's make the deal and then we walk away from the table claiming a victory and then you're on your own. We take a very creative approach to economic development that starts with listening to your needs, and then we pull together a very wide team to address your needs. And you'll hear some of the stories. Our most successful foreign direct investment in our region have accomplished things that most people thought couldn't be done, and done them at the speed of business, at the speed that you need to get to your customers and address your market opportunities. You're going to hear about ADF that came in from the Montreal area and had some very unique needs that we were able to jump on and address. And it's just a long history of companies that we have worked with in a creative way. It's that synergistic partnership that we find makes for the long-term success of our region. So we offer 5 competitive advantages. First off, just from a cost basis, Montana is a very competitive state, and Governor Gianforte has just come into office with a primary goal of making us even more competitive. We're ranked as the 5th best tax climate for business by the US Tax Foundation, and we're making improvements to drive us up even further. We're a very entrepreneurial state. We are ranked #1 in entrepreneurship by the Kauffman Institute in the United States. We're very proud of that, and it speaks to the work ethic, which is so important to companies. We have entrepreneurial people who put in a hard day's work and creatively work together to solve problems and pursue opportunities. And we bring that work ethic to work every day. We have some of the highest employee retention rates in the country, as well as productivity increases. And we help make that happen with very responsive schools, colleges, and universities. We put together custom training as well as education programs to fit the needs of our companies. And sometimes that takes a very creative approach where our companies are working hand in hand with our educators and trainers to make sure that they truly are customized exactly to the work level of what you need, your specific skills. Another advantage of ours is just cost. We have a wealth of water in Great Falls, with water rights going back to the 1800s, and we're able to supply either municipally treated water, spring water, which has proven to be very effective. We have a large barley malting plant, one of the largest and most modern in the world, that is owned by a French company in Great Falls, and they're able to utilize water from the largest spring in North America, which we call Giant Springs. And we also offer raw river water. We've put together an industrial park that has been certified by Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad, BNSF, as one of their few premier parks in the country. And what that does is it saves you time. We have lots available that already have rail, water, sewer, multiple fiber providers, electric, that is certified by BNSF, so that it saves you about 6 to 8 months in getting under construction and getting into operation. We also have throughout our region a second BNSF certified park that's on the BNSF East-West Main Line up in Shelby, Montana. So wherever you want to locate, we can help you find sites that work and then package everything that you need to make it work. We call it creative economic development, but really it's business-driven economic development. Again, it's all about listening to what your needs and opportunities are, and then working together to address them. And I just want to put through the one message is that we are authentic Montanans. When we say we care about making you successful, that's what we mean. And we will be with you in partnership every step of the way. We would love to talk with you one-on-one, virtually, and when situation allows, come and visit you, have you visit Montana, and talk with other businesses that we've worked with in the region. You know, it's always the best way to grow your business is word of mouth from your current clients and customers. And that's what we truly believe. So we want to connect you with existing businesses in our region so you can hear directly from them what we can have done for them and what we are eager to do for you. Thank you again for your time. Thank you for considering Great Falls, Montana, and Montana in general. We're so excited about welcoming more foreign companies to our region. I look forward to meeting you at future SelectUSA events. We have been at every single one. They've been a wonderful partner, and I want to thank them, as Jolene did, for putting together this opportunity. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Brett. So now we get into our fireside chat, if you will, discussions, and it is my pleasure to introduce our first interview. Jean-Francois Bossier with the ADF Group. He's the Chief Financial Officer. JF?
Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you.
So ADF Group, tell us a little bit about ADF Group. Get us started.
Yeah, ADF is a Montreal-based company. We've been in business for a bit more than 60 years. We are a publicly traded company on the Toronto Stock Exchange. We do have our two main facilities. The main one is in Terrebonne, just north of Montreal. Our other is in Great Falls. We are a steel fabricator. We are a North American leader in the design engineering of connection fabrication, also including industrial coating and installation. So all major steelworks. We've worked in major projects, including the Freedom Tower in New York City, airports all across America. Our targeted market is normally the U.S. because it's the bigger and more complicated work, which is really what we're good at and what we're doing. But we are basically covering the entire Canadian and U.S. market.
Well, and that shows in the pride from your workers here. The ADF Group completed some of the most complex components of the Atlanta Falcons stadium.
Exactly, that was done. Some sections were done out of the Terrebonne plant, but most of the sections were done out of our Great Falls plant, which we obviously are really proud of.
Yeah, and then the Super Bowl was played, and I think that this was the biggest Super Bowl party that Great Falls has ever had for the year that it was in that stadium, because so many of our residents took pride in the fact that part of that came from Great Falls.
Yes.
Well, JF, I think I was brand new to the team. I might have been on the team for a week the first time you all touched down in Great Falls to tell us that you were thinking about looking at the Great Falls location. And through that process of selecting Great Falls, I learned a lot from my predecessor, Jeremiah Johnson, who helped hopefully ease some of your minds as you located in Great Falls. But tell us about how you came to choose Great Falls and a little bit about that process.
Sure. Yeah, so back in late 2013, early 2014, we were looking to set up shop to better cover the markets west of the Great Lakes. Obviously, having a facility in Montreal enables us to cover efficiently the northeastern market, or both Canadian and US market east of the Great Lakes. We had done projects out west, but obviously with freight, we were not as competitive on some of those projects. So we were looking to set up shop out west. We initially had looked at setting up in Canada, but a bit more west, but through different discussion and what have you, we decided to look south of the border. And after numerous analysis, we started focusing on the Montana and Great Falls region for a number of reasons. First, obviously, being in the US enables us to bid on public work, which are covered by the Buy American Act. So that obviously opens up a new market, or a different market from us, at least from the public sector work. We also wanted to be able to cover the market out west. So as I mentioned, the market west of the Great Lakes, including the market in the greater Los Angeles area. Washington State is also really active. It also enabled us to be able to target the market up north, so Calgary, BC, and Saskatchewan, which is also a pretty significant market. So we needed freight capacity, we needed space to build our plant, and we needed to make sure that we were able to get obviously sufficient labor to set up our shop and have a successful go at it. So this is the way we started pinpointing Great Falls. It is right smack on Highway 15, which, when you look at it from a North American standpoint, it is a Canamex highway. So in Canada, it's Highway 2, Highway 15 in Montana. So it basically goes from Fort McMurray all the way north of Edmonton, all the way down to Mexico. So this obviously is good for us to access the different markets. So that's really the initial focus and where we started looking. And that's when, to your point, we made the initial call to Jeremiah to set up at least start our discussion in Great Falls.
And what was the reception in Great Falls through those?
It was tremendous. Obviously, without the GFDA, all of this would have been much more difficult. Within a couple of weeks of our initial call, Jeremiah and Brett and the entire GFDA team was able to put together an initial presentation that ADF that we did in Great Falls, actually at the Great Falls Airport, where GFDA at Summon was able to gather 25 to 30 key players from Montana, from the senators and governor's office, from the Montana State University and Great Falls College, banking, and all other local players, including union leaders for welding and what have you. So we were able quickly to pitch what we wanted to do in Great Falls to a great number of people. And at that same initial meeting, within a couple of days, we're also able to visit a number of sites where we could possibly locate. So as I mentioned, within the first 2 months of having our initial discussion, we had already set up contacts with key people in Great Falls. We had already located and identified the location where we wanted to set up. And GFDA was able to not only open doors, but put us in contact with the right people to do what we needed to do, because it's not a small feat to start up a brand new greenfield fabrication site. We started from, as I mentioned, a greenfield, so you basically needed to build everything from the ground up, including finding the key resources, which we were lucky to do. But we were quickly put in contact with key people with the help of the GFDA, which has been instrumental in our success in Great Falls.
Well, this was definitely an all hands on deck project, but that's kind of how we roll here. When we get a big project like yours, or even smaller, half the size of yours, it's a let's get everybody together to get this deal. And that also took us working with the schools and making sure that you had a stream of labor. Tell us a little bit about that dual certification and the importance of having both US and Canadian welders.
Right. Obviously for us, when we further our discussion in Great Falls, there was two main thing we wanted to make sure. I already mentioned freight, so we wanted to make sure that we were able to transport bigger parts that we would fabricate from our Great Falls plant. So that's why we worked on the I and Y corridor between our plant and Canada. The other was resources, so making sure that we would be able to hire, because we're looking at hiring anywhere between 200 and 300 employees. And that's when you look at the demographic, you can ask your question, well, we'll be able to get sufficient technical employees. What the type of work we do is really specialized welding, specialized assemblies. So it's not your run-of-the-mill welding, if you want. So we had our concern, but obviously having those discussions with the MSU, and more specifically with the Great Falls College, where they do have a welding school, they were able to provide us additional work. We were also, to your point, able to have that dual certification that obviously helps from a welder certification. So it helped tremendously in making sure that we're able to get all the required resources we needed. One of the things that, and I remember Brett telling us, it was kind of the field of dream concept, where we were asking about, will we be able to get sufficient number of employees? And we basically did 2 open houses with the help of the GFDA and local resources. And within those, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 days in total of open houses just to meet people, we're able to build, if I remember correctly, close to 500 resumes for people that wanted to work with us. And people, obviously, back in 2013, 14, A lot of people, it was not, maybe the working environments were was a bit tougher, but a lot of people really wanted, if they were not able to find jobs in Great Falls, they had moved elsewhere. But now with these opportunities, people they like so much their region and Great Falls in Montana, they wanted to come back. So we were able to recuperate, if you want, people that had moved away from Montana or Great Falls, now that we have those openings. So and obviously for us, that was, as I said, a main concern, but obviously a big relief that we were able to hire all the required resources and the right types of resources for what we wanted to do.
And speaking of labor and some of those resources, Montana isn't a state that might be known for big incentives, but when we have a project like yours, we are able to put together a pretty competitive incentive package. Can you speak a little bit to the incentive package that we were able to put together?
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the, as I mentioned from the onset, we had negotiated elsewhere in Canada the same sort of expansion we wanted to do. And it was a bit more difficult when we started the discussion in Great Falls, both locally and statewide, including the Montana Board of Investment and all the other, and GFDA, and also the local, we were quickly able to see a wide spectrum of different programs. Be it the primary sector workforce training grant, which obviously is a really competitive program where you basically have subsidies based on the number of employees you hire. There was also the Big Sky Cross Fund creation grant. The Montana Board of Investment also helped, and GFDA also had available loans for our equipment purchases and what have you. And on top of that, through other programs, we're also able to reduce the interest rates on all these loans. So the packages are really competitive. And what we really appreciated, and obviously especially in my position as the CFO, you're trying to get the best packages at the lowest rates. It's not to say that everything came free and everything was easy to get, but there was a willingness if something we wanted was not available or was not available the way we wanted, there was definitely a willingness from all involved to find a solution to our request. And that was a huge difference from the initial discussion or negotiation we had back in the other location we're looking for. It's that willingness and really, yeah, that willingness to find a way. If plan A doesn't work, we'll move to plan B, we'll move to plan C, but we'll find something that makes sense and that makes everybody happy. And that was definitely a switching gear for us, but really appreciated because, again, I've mentioned it. You start greenfield in an entirely new location. You don't know the people. You don't know what you're dealing with. But to get that sort of somebody taking us by the hand and leading us through all the maze of what needed to do, and as I said, opening the right doors, that was really not only comforting, but obviously helped us do all we needed to do in a much more efficient way. And within a year, we had our plant up and running, and just that in itself is I'd say, testimony to all the work and all the help we got from all involved in Great Falls and in Montana.
Well, we continue to work with your team here on the ground and really enjoy every aspect of your company and are so appreciative that you did choose Great Falls. I think we're pretty ambitious on our questions that we outlined in our timing. So I'm going to skip to the end, JF, and ask you to just, if an advanced manufacturer is looking to expand, why should Great Falls, Montana be on their short list? And any other final thoughts that you have?
Well, as I said, market access, Brett did mention it. Great Falls is 5 hours away from Calgary. It is on the Highway 15. It has that easy access to the western market. People, hardworking people, willing to work. And the first thing I'd say is for them to communicate with GFDA, with you guys, because you are, at least for us, you were key to what we did, and obviously that was the right first step to do, because you know the programs, you know the people, you know the state, and you know on which door to knock, and that, especially from a company coming from abroad, that's it's great help. So it is, and the governor mentioned it, it is a state open for business. This is definitely something we notice, and we can now say proudly that we are proud to be in Great Falls and in Montana, and that's definitely for ADF a huge success, what we did with our plan. So, and we thank you for that.
Excellent. Well, I have a meeting next week with some of your team to keep this success rolling. So, JF, we greatly appreciate your time and your thoughts on locating Great Falls. We always appreciate ADF's impact here. So thank you so much.
My pleasure.
We're going to move on to our next panelist. So I would like to introduce Dan Bateman, the CFO, and Hiro Hidaka, the CEO of Pasta Montana, for a discussion about their foreign direct investment. Dan, Hiro-san?
Good morning, Jolene. Morning.
Good morning. How are you both this morning?
Good, thank you. Very well.
Yep. Good.
Happy to be part of this today. Yeah, thank you very much for inviting us.
Thank you so much for joining us. So tell us a little bit about the parent company for Pasta Montana.
Okay, and we are the pasta manufacturing company, and making more than 70 types of pasta, such as spaghetti, penne, lasagna, etc. And our parent company is Japanese food manufacturing company. And just recently, they changed its official company name from Nippon Flour Mills to Nippon Corporation on January 1st, 2021, this year. As you can find the previous company name, our parent company started the first modern flour milling business in Japan, 1896, which is 125 years ago. Then Nippon Flour Mills diversified their business area from flour milling to food-related business, such as frozen food, prepared food, healthy food, and so on. And the revenue of other food products exceeded that of flour business. Therefore, our parent company changed its official company name this year. Nippon is still trying to expand their business area, and the overseas business is one of the focus to grow. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. And how did Nippon Corporation come to be located in Great Falls, Montana?
Yeah, and in order to expand international presence, Nippon was considering investing in pasta processing plant in western part of the United States because they are intending to export pasta product to Japan in addition to US domestic business. And they found Great Falls is located in the edge of Golden Triangle, where the best durum wheat is produced. Also, they found they could get semolina from flour milling company next door, which is most important raw material of pasta. as well as sufficient water and, of course, good labor force. So Nippon decided to invest in Pasta Montana year 2000.
Excellent. And you mentioned the getting the flour from next door. It is literally freshly milled and pneumatic piped into your factory.
Yeah, that's right.
That's great. That's
Yep.
great.
Yep.
So what do you find the culture in Great Falls, the business culture in Great Falls is like?
And I'll answer that, Jolene. You know, Great Falls is a small town that thinks it's a big city. You know, we provide the best hospitals in the region and are home to some of the highest ranked schools in the nation. We provide resources to small agriculture-based towns for hundreds of miles in nearly every direction. Those towns see Great Falls as a big city, and by comparison, it really is. The result is a town that holds rural values of integrity, honesty, hard work, and taking pride in what you do and who you are. It's a place where you get to know your neighbors and your coworkers, and you run into them at the local stores or at community events. We're a destination location for some of the best camping, hiking, fishing, hunting, rafting, or any multitude of other outdoor recreational opportunities. But we're also known for our fantastic rodeos, Western Art Week, our museums, and our amazing symphony. So we add culture to the outdoors as well.
That's great. And what do you find, tell us just some of your thoughts and impressions on the business climate, doing business in Montana as a foreign direct investment.
Well, you know, in doing business in Montana is nice from the standpoint that most people shop local when they can and believe in supporting local businesses. Outside of our state, however, Montana is a recognized brand that speaks to natural purity, quality, integrity, and hard work. No one made that brand up. Montana became known for that because that's who we are. Consequently, the business climate for Montana is blessed with both buy local as well as international name recognition. Montana is hungry with entrepreneurs, as Brett referenced, and for the most part, I think it's because they chose to live in Montana and there simply aren't enough amazing local opportunities to leverage their abilities. So they start looking to do something on their own. So I see the business climate in Montana as budding. What I mean by that is it's just getting started. Those who choose to locate here now can establish some first mover advantages that will prove beneficial for generations.
From your agriculture processing lens, tell us why Great Falls, Montana makes sense.
Well, Hero talked about how Great Falls lies really at the apex of the famed Golden Triangle. So the Golden Triangle extends northwest and northeast of Great Falls and captures an area situated between mountain ranges that gets great spring rains and then very hot and dry summers. So this is the perfect growing condition for agricultural crops to lock in protein, color, nutrients, and such, while reducing the chance of molds or other harvest concerns that are felt in other regions. Simply put, for many crops, the Golden Triangle is the best place that they can be grown. Local businesses get first choice from these high quality agricultural crops, which empowers us to have the best quality raw materials without having to pay a premium for them. Value-added agriculture producers located in Great Falls are uniquely positioned to use higher quality raw materials than their competitors. We do that at Pasta Montana, and it's a staple of who we are. We make the finest pasta in the world, and that simply wouldn't be possible if we were located anywhere else.
Well, I concur with that statement. You make the finest pasta in the world. It is simply perfect.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the challenges you've faced and how have you overcome them?
Yeah, our biggest challenge is how to add value to our products. Mm-hmm. We are proud of the quality of our products. However, it is not easy to our customer understood. Also, our main market, such as California, Texas, are far from Great Falls. So we have our salesperson in California and Arizona to deal with our customers with the collaboration of our head office in Great Falls. And finally, our customers evaluated our products and we succeeded to expand our business especially under this pandemic.
Mhm. And what kind of support do you receive from the community here in that?
Well, businesses have several community resources available, and my opinion is that the Great Falls Development Authority is one of the best rounded local resources available. During his introduction, Brett Doney talked about the synergistic partnership that Great Falls Development Authority strives to foster, and I think that's a good description for what you guys do. You provide, among other things, business planning strategy, talent attraction and recruitment, assistance with government contracting, as ADF talked about, well-designed feasibility analyses, training seminars, introduction to local businesses if you need to collaborate on a project, and even financing opportunities. I loved that reference from ADF that you took their hand and walked them where they needed to go. That's exactly what an outside company looking for location into a new region needs. But in addition to the Great Falls Development Authority, you benefit from the small town, help each other out first mentality of rural Montana. As a community, we will pull together to make things happen. Our local college can sometimes find intern opportunities for your businesses, can change courses to fit your needs. We collaborate with local schools and each other for local training for things like HACCP, GMPs, SQF, or total quality management. Local manufacturers are often happy to collaborate and leverage our resources for the common good of our local community.
Let's talk about workforce for a minute. What do you find in our market?
Workforce is tough throughout the entire world right now, and our current national political agenda isn't helping. Unemployment is seen by some as an alternative to work rather than a way to survive until a new job can be found. Perhaps we can't fix the impacts of our national political decisions, but we can choose to locate our companies in places where hard work, integrity, and personal choice are still time-honored measures of our character. In Montana, we refer to this as the last best place. Part of this is because of our mostly untouched natural surroundings, but another big part of it is the rural American influence on character building. Montana grows some of the best and brightest kids in our nation. Our kids learn to work at a young age, and they're taught honesty and integrity from their youth. You will never find more lessons on community involvement and concern for your neighbor than in small rural communities. That is who we are. And when you hire in Great Falls, you can still find those with integrity, those that take pride in a job well done, and that will rise to meet expectations. Those attributes have become scarce in the workforce today, but we still find people like that here in Great Falls.
Excellent. So, gentlemen, what advice do you have for businesses that might be looking at Great Falls?
Do it. I've worked in Spokane, Seattle, Boise, Salt Lake, Phoenix, India, South America. This is my favorite place, both from a business lens as well as for personal enjoyment. Employees who like where they live have a greater chance of liking where they work. Talent attraction and retention is easier. Some manufacturing and contractor-based work costs are lower. But mostly, if you are in value-added agriculture, you will love the quality of the raw ingredients from which you can choose. You will love the people you are surrounded by, and you will love your community, and you will absolutely love your weekends.
And we did have a question come in on how COVID has affected operations. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Well, we're very proactive addressing kind of the COVID concerns from the standpoint of masking up before that was a national thing. Our employees didn't necessarily like it. We received a lot of assistance from our home office in Japan before it was readily available in the local community on how to reduce spread. So as a manufacturer, one of your concerns, obviously, first and foremost, is protecting your employees. And we did a fantastic job of preventing spread. Knock on wood, we haven't had any employee-to-employee transmission of COVID. The second piece of that, if you can keep manufacturing operations rolling, is, how is it going to impact your business? And boy, when this started, we didn't have a clue what the impact was going to be. But if anybody who tried to shop for pasta last April, May, June, you'll see there wasn't anything on the shelf. You know, pasta is a comfort food. So sales, if anything, increased through the pandemic. So count our blessings. That hasn't impacted us from a sales deficit. If anything, we're running beyond what we would have considered full capacity a year and a half ago.
That's fantastic. And when we were at the plant shooting some video the other day, it showed just all those lines running and a lot of pasta being made. That's what we like to see. Yeah. Excellent. Well, gentlemen, any final thoughts on why Great Falls, Montana should be on a short list for a company?
You know, I'd have to circle back to, you know, having the first pick of the best raw ingredients. And granted, I'm speaking specifically to food manufacturing. But from that standpoint, manufacturers who want to compete on quality should seriously look at the options locally sourced in our area. But even if your customers don't care about the quality of your raw ingredients, or you're not in agriculture business, they will care about your staff. And you can staff your company with amazing people here, and you can keep them. You can find the support from local community leaders and businesses like the Great Falls Development Authority to help put you into collaborative groups that will help you succeed. There is no place that I would rather work and live than in North Central Montana.
And I think one of the most important things for foreign companies to invest is to select the best location. And for our company, Great Falls is the best, and our parent company made an excellent decision to invest in Pasta Montana in Great Falls, Montana. Yeah.
I concur, Hiro-san. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for spending time with us. Thank you for investing in our community. Dan, Hiro-san, we really greatly appreciate your investment and your everyday work here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we've heard from companies today. We've heard from the governor. We've heard from Bill Burwell, Executive Director for SelectUSA. And now I would really like to turn this and wrap this up with our Cascade County Commissioner, Joe Briggs. Joe, some thoughts?
Well, thank you, Jolene. My thought is, how come I always have to follow these tough acts? We've heard a lot of great things, starting from the governor, of what he plans how he plans to make Montana even more business friendly than we already are. Throughout all of it, Cascade County has been open for business and eager for new business. And one of the joys of my job is getting to work with some of these companies you've heard from this morning when they first came to town. I had the pleasure of being at that briefing that was referred to earlier by ADF up at the airport. And I think that is an important element that GFDA can bring those of us who are in government positions that have a regulatory process to the table early on. It was also mentioned that you know, it's not like we're into handouts, but we are definitely up to handing people help to get started. We want your business here. We work hard to earn it, and I hope you give us an opportunity. You've heard from the professionals. There's not an awful lot more I can add other than I would love to be able to help you invest in Cascade County. So with that, Jolene, wrap us up.
All right. Well, I really appreciate that, Joe, and that's exactly right. We want to help make investment as easy as possible in Cascade County. And so let me tell you how to do that. We are happy to schedule an individual specific to your needs virtual tour. So if you need more information or just want to chat about our location, please just call or email me or text me. My phone number and my email are there. We'll also send it out in the wrap up for this. We're going to send out a link to this meeting today. And then we're also part of the SelectUSA matchmaking event that's all day on February 25th. And if you go to selectusa.gov, you can sign up for that, any sessions that you want. But we are open for business, and we are, myself, Brett, and the entire GFDA team are here to help walk you through any of these processes that you need. We'll pull the team together. As you heard from our companies, we're happy to pull everybody together, from the commissioner to the governor's office to the schools. Let's get you a very successful start, and then let's also continue those conversations. So on behalf of the Great Falls development team and all of our partners, thank you for being on this call with us. Thank you for participating. Thank you to the Montana Department of Commerce. Thank you to the Governor's Office and the Montana Small Business Development Center, the SelectUSA team. Thank you to ADF and JF and Pasta Montana with Dan and Hero, Commissioner Briggs, and everybody for making this a great event. Thank you. Have a really wonderful day.